Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. This episode will focus on the Vanguard Raptors.
Warscroll Review.
Vanguard Raptors have been out since the latest wave of Stormcast Eternal releases. They are part of the newly installed Vanguard Chapter and have a variety of ways to augment their effectiveness. Average stats for a Stormcast Eternal model. Their power comes from an exceptional ranged weapon. The long strike crossbow shoots 24 inches, hits on 2s, wounds on 3s, with Ren 2, damage 2. This is like a mini bolt thrower being toted around by each of these guys. If they don't move, they shoot an extra 6, making their range 30 inches. This helps in keeping the biggest amount of space between the Raptors and the opponent. Most shooting units will not be able to compete with this range, forcing most armies to come to them. They have a great ability called Headshot, where if they roll a 6 to hit, the shot inflicts 2 mortal wounds instead of its normal damage. With a bare minimum unit, you can expect to trigger this ability once every other turn, so it really isn't reliable until the unit contains 6 or more Raptors. The champion of the unit, the Raptor Prime, allows the unit to fire when they are charged. Roll a die for each crossbow, and on a 6 the Raptor deals 2 mortal wounds. This ability gives them a good deterrent from being charged, but just like the headshot ability, don't rely on doing any mortals unless the unit has 6 or more models, or some sort of to-hit modifier. A unit of 3 is 180 points, and their maximum unit size is 12, meaning they can cost up to 720 points, so they are a somewhat hefty points investment for the amount of wounds you're getting. Deploy the Raptors as far back as possible, and be sure to keep a buffer between them and the opponent. If the opponent has any way to reach them before dealing with the rest of your army, like hidden or mid-game deployments, be sure to protect the unit with defensive models or simply chaff. The Vanguard Raptors do best sniping characters from afar, but are also effective knocking down monsters and killing monstrous cavalry and heavy infantry. As said before, they aren't a reliable source of mortal wounds at base value, but just taking 3 with no to-hit modifiers can still hold their weight, dealing damage from a good position. There are plenty of different abilities that synergize with the Vanguard Raptors. The first Stormcast Allegiance ability that sticks out is the command trait Staunch Defender. This will give the Raptors +1 to their save. If they are stuck in cover, they'd have a 2-up save, making them significantly tough. The Stormcast also have access to an array of prayers. Divine Light can be used on an enemy unit or the Raptors. If used on the former, it would allow you to reroll 1s to hit against them. The latter would force the opponent to reroll 6s to hit on the Raptors. Bless the Weapons may be the best enhancement to put on the Raptors. This prayer would give them an extra shot on a 6 to hit, making those 6s even more critical to the Raptors. One way to protect the Vanguard Raptors from mid-game deploying units that can pop up too close would be to put a Gryph-hound nearby. If the enemy unit deploys within 10 inches, nearby Raptors would be able to take a shot at them. If you're taking a Stormcast or Order gun line, this can be useful in protecting your high-value shooters. Another animal companion to help out the Raptors are the Aether Wings. They can be used as a sort of moving screen unit, so instead of surrounding a unit of Raptors with chaff, they could have 1 or 2 units of Aether Wings to block 1 or 2 charges. Keep in mind they are pretty cheap and die accordingly. When a unit of Raptors is charged, a nearby unit of Aether Wings has the ability to get in the way and get in the combat. The Lord Castella is a good addition to any army that includes important Stormcast units. Its ability would add +1 to the unit's save. Combined with cover, or any of the other save modifiers Stormcast have access to, this unit could be very tough to take down. The Lord Aquila has an impressive command ability to allow a unit of Vanguard within 24 inches to redeploy within 6 inches of any board edge. The Lord's ability can even affect models in combat. This could be used to move the unit out of danger and on the other side of the board, making the opponent chase them down all over again. The Stormcast Prayer, Lightning Chariot, and the Night Vexilor's Pennant of the Stormbringer are a few other options that would have a similar effect on the Raptors. The Aether Strike Force from the Stormcast Eternal's Battle Tome is a good enhancement to the Vanguards. It includes Aether Wings, a Knight of Xeros, Knight Venerator, Judicators, and of course the Vanguard Raptors. A unit 12 inches away from the Aether Wings or the Knight of Xeros can make a shooting attack in the hero phase. Doubling the shots of the long strike crossbow is brutal, but don't forget how squishy those winged units are. Keep them out of line of sight. A second ability this battalion has is when one of the units dies, another unit from this battalion can make a shooting attack at the enemy models that destroyed it. Using the Judicators as meat shields, just makes the Raptors fire even more, and this could even make the Aetherwings' fragility an advantage. They can even be as tricky as to shoot with the Raptors in the hero phase with the Aetherwings next to them, shoot again normally in the shooting phase, then send the Aetherwings in to die in combat, allowing them to fire a third time in one battle round. It may not be worth losing the birds, as they do allow the first ability to be used, but in a last-ditch effort, this could be used to send out one final horrific volley of fire to finish something off. Their bravery is respectable, but each model is so expensive, everyone lost really hurts. It may be worth thinking about using abilities that mitigate battle shock tests, such as the Lord Celestin on Dracoth's command ability, the Stormcast Prayer, Bolster Faith, or even the Order Grand Alliance battle tree. Speaking of Order, if the Raptors are joining the Grand Alliance, they have access to the Celestrum Hurricanum. This would obviously trigger the Raptors' headshot on a 5-up, making a unit of 3 statistically able to spit out at least 2 mortal wounds per turn. Tack on a Skink Starseer for Curse of Fates to bump up a straggling 4 for added damage. 2 to 4 mortal wounds from 30 inches away is pretty brutal and frustrating. Vanguard Raptors fit in a gun line or balanced force as a supporting fire piece. While there are many synergies using Stormcast Eternal's Allegiance, Order Grand Alliance serve the Raptors well. Order makes a mean gun line, and Raptors fill a spot that Kurnoth Hunters don't. With the higher Ren value and the ability to do mortal wounds, they can be a bit better at taking down higher armor targets. When facing the long strike variation of the Raptors, avoiding them is almost impossible without line of sight blocking terrain, so try to take advantage of the true line of sight as much as possible. Having a unit that can deploy mid-game in the backfield or a very fast unit is almost necessary to take out the Vanguard Raptors. Shooting them isn't always a viable strategy, as their range is better than most shooting units and they can easily modify their save, plus they'll likely be sitting in cover the whole game, making them pretty durable. Stormcast Eternal Vanguard Raptors with the long strike crossbow receive a 4 out of 5. They are a solid shooting choice in a faction that already are well known for their shooting prowess. In certain matchups, they will be able to stay out of range from danger for most of the battle. Have you fought the Vanguard Raptors? What did you think of them? Leave your thoughts on this Warscroll in the comments. Also let me know what Warscroll you'd like to see covered next on the channel. Thanks for watching.